So good afternoon to all. Yesterday we had discussed different operators that are available in Python. Now we discuss some input-output statements in Python programming. So what is the input statement? What are the output statement? What are the different input-output statements that are available in Python? So now we discuss some input and output statements that are available in Python. First of all, we discuss input statement. First of all, we discuss what are the different input statements. So, what is input statement? First of all, we discuss what is input statement. Input statements are used to read data from the standard input device. You want to read data from a standard input device, we use input statements. Actually, the input statements which are used to read data from a standard input device. So, what is the function? Input prompt. So, this is the input function. The function input is used to read a value from the keyboard. So we use the function input. That function is used to read the value from a keyboard and assign the value to the variable. Suppose to read any value from a keyboard, we use the function input. By using this function, we can read it very well, no problem. So the syntax, this is the where we discuss. So variable, you can write variable equal to input of input, you have to write the prompt. So very simple syntax. So variable equal to input, that's for example num equal to input, enter any. Actually the default the value which is read from the keyboard, the default the value which is read from the keyboard, so is a enter name. The value which is entered through keyboard is default as a string. So that means whenever you enter the value from a system keyboard, the system will consider that input as a string data. Suppose I want to enter a name. Actually, name is a string data type. That's why we use enter name. So by default, it is a name, string data type. Suppose I want to read some integers. Suppose I want to read integer. It is necessary to type to write the type conversion integer of input. Enter a value. Enter a value. So you must write the type conversion integer. So that means the value which is read by default the value is a string data type. So again the string is converted to integers. So to convert the strings into integers, you must write the type conversion. So that's why I written type conversion. Suppose I want to read floating point. So you must write number equal to float input. Enter a value. So this is the way. So this is the way to read value from the keyboard. So actually the function input is used to read value. But Python has some many advantages. It is also possible to read multiple number of inputs. Suppose I want to read two values, A and B values, or X and Y values. In other programming languages, you have to write, so we can simply write, suppose I want to read multiple input values. Multiple inputs. Suppose I want to read two or more inputs. In this case, you have to write variable 1, comma, variable 2. So you have to write multiple inputs. Map, what are the type you want to type, comma, input dot split. So this is the syntax. Suppose I want two values. Suppose two integer values. Suppose I want to read two integers of type integer. Read X and Y values. Of type integer. Suppose I want to read two integers X and Y. Suppose in this case X comma Y equal to map. We use the function map. What is the type of value we read? Integers. So we need input, function input. If you need prompt, you have to write prompt dot split. So whenever you use this split method, the first input is separate. The first input and second input is separated by blank space. Sometimes the input is separated by comma. They will ask in exam, in online exams. Sometimes they will tell that the inputs are separated by comma. So in this case, we have to split comma. X comma Y equal to map integer comma input dot split. So you need to write the comma. Split comma. So the input is separated by comma. Suppose if I want to separate the input by comma, we use like this. So by default, the split, whenever you use the split method, so when you read multiple values, we use map. So if you want three values, you write X comma Y comma Z. So like this, we use the input function. So input function is used to read the values from the keyboard. It's the function syntax. The function syntax is variable equal to input prompt. The prompt is a string. It's an optional. You may or you may not be specified. If you want, you may specify. Otherwise, you don't want. If you don't want, you don't want specific. So similarly, this is the one where by default the value which is entered from the keyboard is a string data type. So this name is a string, that's right. Suppose I want to convert that value into, suppose I want to read an integer. So in this case, you must write the type conversion. So by default, the input statement return type is string data type. Suppose I want to convert then that string to an integers, you have to write a type conversion int. So that's why number equal to int. So suppose I want to read integers, you have to write int. Suppose you want floating point, you have to write float like this. So like this, we can specify the type conversions. Sometimes it is necessary to read multiple number of inputs. In this case, we use this format. So how many? Suppose I want to read 4 inputs separated by commas, or 4 inputs separated by blank space. So in this case, we use the map function with input function. So the input function will read and it's a map that values to the variables. The map function will map the values to the variables. The syntax of this map function is type conversion. That means the type of values to be read and the input dot split by default is blank space. So if you want to convert, suppose you want to separate the input with a comma, you have to specify the comma. So I will show execution also. After both discussing both input and output statements, I will show the execution. Actually, somebody will know, CSC students will know execution, other students cannot know the execution. That's why I will show both execution of the program, how to write. So this is the input statement. Actually, so both these statements, these syntaxes are very important. The students who are writing, who are preparing for campus interviews, this format is very important because so they will tell 2-line input. One said the line will contain 2 or 3 values separated by comma or separated by a blank space. In this case, you must write like this. That's why. So this function is very important. Students who are preparing for online examinations, so who are preparing for CRT exams. So this map syntax is very important because so they will ask the input in a specific format. Suppose the input has 3 values separated by comma. So in this case, you have to specify the format. Such a format is specified. You must specify such a format. Or the input is separated by blank space. You have to specify such a format. So that's why this is about input function. Similarly, output, we have the output function. This function is used to print the values on the monitor. To print the values on the monitor. So we have the different formats of output statement. Actually, the function print is the function. Print is an output function. So this is the statement is used to print the values. Print is the function, is the output function. So this is the print function. So we discuss different formats of this print function, how the print function will work. So we go for actually different styles also. We go for different examples. Print good. So output is so this is the syntax output. Suppose I want this format good. Suppose I want to print good. So simply we write like this. Suppose I will show different examples. After that, I will show the execution. students must use the higher version 3.6 or 3.75 like this. So you must use higher versions. Don't use Python 2, 2.75. Lower versions cannot. You don't use lower versions. You must use to lower version is different from higher version in Python. So Python 2 is differ from Python 3. So Python 2 support does not support some syntaxes. That's why don't use Python 2 version. Use always Python 3 and its higher versions only. For example, a equal to 5, b equal to 6. Print a comma b. So the output, what is the output? So 5 space 6. 5 comma space 6. Suppose I want separation of the both the inputs 5 comma 6 output. Suppose I want the output 5 comma 6. So I want to say actually a value is 5, b value is 6. Suppose if I print a comma b, we get the answer 5 space 6. The separator for one value to another value is default is blank space. You may change the separator also. Actually, the separator for one value to another value is default is blank space. That's why 5 space 6 will get the answer 6. Suppose I want the value 5 comma 6, 5 hash 6, 5 star 6. Suppose I want one input is separated with another input by some other special variable hash. So in this case, suppose print a comma b comma SCP separator equal to, so whatever the separator you want. Suppose I want separator is hash. If I want, if I write like this, print a comma b comma SCP. SCP means separator. Separator is hash. By default, the separate, if you cannot specify the separator, so the default is blank space. That's why we get 5 space 6. Suppose I want 5 hash 6. So in this case, we get, if you write like this, the output, we will get the output 5 hash 6, the separator. Suppose I want the separator comma. So print a comma b comma separator equal to, so we have the keyword separator SCP. So separator, that is the old style actually. So we say need to use separators. That's better. That's way. Suppose I want 7 values. You must write. Actually, this whatever the format is. I will explain. Okay. So separator equal to comma. So if you write like this, a comma, so 5 comma 6. 5 comma 6. Actually, one student will charge them, sir, it is necessary to write a space between the values. So some student sends a message, print a comma, again you have to put some hash, again comma b. Actually, this is also correct. Suppose there are 10 values, all the values must be separated by some hash. In this case, so actually this is also correct, no problem. If it is suitable when it contains 2 values, in this case also you will get the output 5 hash 6, 5 hash 6. But the problem with this type is if there are 10 values, if there are 7 values, all the values must be separated by some hash. Suppose there are 5 values. Suppose there are 4 or 5 values. For example, a equal to 5, b equal to 6, c equal to 7, d equal to 8, e equal to 9. Suppose these are the values. I want to separate these values by star or comma. 5 comma 6 comma 7 comma 8 comma 9. I want like that. Actually, so if you write like this is very simple syntax. Print a comma b comma c comma d comma e comma SCP separator equal to, so what you need separator, comma, suppose I want comma, comma, s itself. If you get the values 5 comma 6 comma 7 comma 8 comma 9, like this we get. Suppose if you use this format, print a comma again comma comma b comma, so you find the difficulty, I think, comma c, so such a difficulty you will get. So that's where, so this is the simple syntax, use separator. When you use separator, so whatever the format you want hash, you can use. Suppose I want at the end I want star, at the end I want star, you must specify print. By default the end is new line. Suppose I want star, print a comma b comma c comma d comma e comma separator equal to hash comma end equal to star. This is the, if I written like this, the output is if I write like this, the output is 5 hash 5 hash 6 hash 7 hash 8 hash 9, then star. At end I want star. If we cannot write, nobody. Suppose at the end of the line I want star, yes, I will get star. This is the style. So at the end, I want star. Actually, if you cannot specify the end, the cursor is transferred to next line actually. Sometimes if you write some online examinations, we will get a small warning, what is called as presentation error. They won't take such a problem. Actually, that will be presentation error will be considered. So if, because you will get some extra one blank space. At that time, suppose I want the cursor at the same line. So by default, the cursor is after printing the values, the cursor is in next line. Suppose you want the cursor on the same lines. And after printing the values, the cursor goes to next line. Suppose after printing the values, the cursor is on the same line you want. At that time, we use end. Put a end, we can write blank space. So in this case, the cursor will be on the same line. So such a situations, this is the one format. Okay. Again, we have one more format, print. Value of A and B. Value of A equal to and B equal to, you have to write flower brackets dot format a comma b. So in this case, a equal to 5, b equal to 6. A equal to 5 and b equal to 6. So value of print value of a equal to brackets comma b equal to brackets dot format. So you have to close them. Dot format AB, quotations close, then this. Suppose this is the dot format. So this is the my style. So in this case, we get the output. Value of a equal to first value. What is the value? So this the first value is substituted to first flower bracket. Second value is substituted to second flower bracket. So value of a equal to 5 and b equal to 6. Actually, these are the different formats. So so the advantage, sir, somebody will say that the value of a equal to plus again we write a value, then comma b value. That is the old formats, and the syntax is somewhat difficult actually. So somebody will say, sir, value of a equal to within the brackets. Then I will comma, I will put a value of a and b equal to again brackets. And then I will put the value of b. That is the old style and some difficult format, because there are suppose many values. It's a difficult process. So in such a case, we use say this format. This is the one special format. So when you use this type of formats, you will get the values very easily. This is the some special type of format. For example, fruit 1 equal to mango. Fruit 2 equal to banana. Print I like if I write like this, if I write like this, I like so out is the output. Output is I like mango and banana. If we change the format, print I like 2, comma and 1 dot format. Fruit 1, comma fruit 2. So in this case, I like output. What is the output? I like banana and and mango. So interchange. So first the second value is substituted. After that, first value is substituted. You must write the format. So that is the advantage by writing the format. Similarly, we have the floating point numbers. I want 2-digit precision for a floating point number. We have the floating point numbers actually. I want 2-digit precision for a floating point numbers. So what I can do? So what is the syntax? Suppose I want we have. So this is the advantage when using the format. So don't write that old style. This is the actually what are the format? This is this type. Actually, this is the old style. Actually, uh, if you know, if a person who do not know the format, then only use. And this is somewhat complicated and difficult process. That's why we can use separators. By default, the end is a new line. You can specify any special character at the end. Similarly, use we can substitute the values between strings. We can substitute the values between the strings by using format. So we can change the formats. Actually, there is different styles also. For example, I give for one more example. Print name from dot format name equal to KVR, comma which is equal to greetings. For example, if I write like this, greetings name from wishes dot format name equal to KVR, comma wishes equal to greeting. So in this case, name KVR, output is KVR from greetings. Wishes is greeting. Suppose if I write like this, wishes and greeting. So greeting from KVR. If I write like this, correct, wishes. So in this case, we get the output. Greeting from KVR. So enough. If you change the format styles, if you change the styles, you will get the values. You find the difference. So instead of write that, just we can use different styles. Similarly, I want some floating point values. For example, suppose A is the value, A contains ఏ టైంలో ఫార్మాట్ చేంజ్ చేయాలి కదా. So a change format. Yes, so need ante one they will ask the output will be like that. In this case, use that format actually. Suppose if I give some small example, a equal to 56.7893. Suppose I want two-digit precision. Suppose if I print a, so if I print a, I will get 56.7893. In this case, I use print a equal to percentage 5.2f comma percentage a. This is also new style. In this case, we get the value 56.78. We get two precision values 56.78. So you itself you have to specify format specifications also. Also, whenever you want to specify the format specifications, you have to write percentage D. The value of that format specification is specified outside of the comma also. Suppose I want floating point number with two precisions, 0.2f. So whatever the value you want print A, so you have to write percentage A. So that in this case, the value of A is substituted. So with five total width is 5. Among them, two digits are used for precision. So this is the output statement. So this is like this we use. So these are the different formats of output. Not only one format. Actually, we are using only this one regular model. Actually, printer. So this model is not sufficient for writing the examinations of online examinations because they will ask different format styles, different in output operations or different end line specifications or different way to change the values. So that's why this is the different way to write the values. So you want to change the values from one to another. This actually this is the new format. So suppose I want to modify the precision also, we can use this precision statements. So like this, this is about today's class input and output statements. Actually, so we have the map function that is very important. Similarly, here we have the format that is also very important. Don't remember, so don't miss them. Okay, thank you.